Join us on a ride up Mount Seymour with die-hard road glide fan Jeff and street glide enthusiast Stewart. Once we reach the top, we're going to make them switch each other's bikes to see if we can get them to change their minds about their favorite bike. During this video, they'll break down all the pros and cons of these two Harley-Davidson models. So if you're considering the shift or just wanted to see what's new for the 2024 models, then this is a video you do not want to miss. Let's get into it.
Follow me up, I'll follow you down.
So Stu, tell me what you think about the 2024 Road Glide model.
Well, Jeff, you know, I'm a big street glide fan. Every year I've been riding street glides. I got on the Road Glide, I was quite impressed.
Yeah?
You know, I've always found the Road Glides faring too far away from me, but I got on this bike, the handlebars, the turning, it felt really light.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bars are a bit far forward for me. You know, the reach, doing a U-turn was tough. I would have them a little further back. But what's cool I know about these is you got 27 degrees of adjustment.
Yeah, you can move them. You can move them back and forth.
Yeah,
right?
so I find people aren't buying new handlebars for these. They're 1.25 inches. The stock bars are almost perfect.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier when I was telling you about my bike. I spent a bunch of money and a bunch of time putting bars that were this height on my bike.
Yeah,
right.
And then they did the fender.
And the fender, and it comes stock with these bars up, and I actually really like where the position is. So I got gorilla arms, they're big, so I hang them out there, and it feels good. The position is really nice, it's easy to move it around, and it's, I find it very comfortable to ride.
Well, that's what I found when I was riding behind you. You suited this bike.
Yeah.
Your stature, the size of the fairing, it looked perfect for you.
Yeah.
Behind you on the street glide, you look big on.
Different story, yeah,
You know,
totally.
You'd
see me on a Sportster.
You had a chance to ride both bikes.
Yeah, okay, so.
The new 2024 Road Glide.
Yep.
And the new 2024 Street Glide.
What are you gonna ask me?
What do you think?
Okay, so you know I'm a Road Glide guy. That's my jam. I got a Road Glide. The main thing that I see right off the bat with these two bikes, the Road Glide, your hands are kind of up in the air. The immediate thing I noticed when we switched bikes was on the Street Glide, it felt like my knees were really close to my handlebars.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, so it's like a different rider triangle, I guess. It's like a different piece altogether.
With those bars, they're a little bit far forward for me. To do a U-turn, I really had my arms out like that. So that was a big difference for me. I also found the front end super light on this.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
going in the corners was light. Street Glide felt a little heavier, but I'm used to street glides.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing I found for 2024 is the suspension.
Oh, it's so much better. Like
Way
even just,
better.
so I've got a 21 Road Glide, and just the stock suspension on these bikes is unreal by comparison. It's so much nicer.
I think the extra 1 inch in these shocks makes a huge difference. The previous bikes, small bumps, you'd
Yeah,
really
feel
feel it to the back.
Yeah.
These now, you know, they're way more small bump compliant.
And we hit a bunch of bumps on the way up the hill.
I know, and
too.
did you blow through the whole stroke?
It was awesome.
But I'm also really grooving on the electronics.
Okay, you could talk about that a little bit more. I went old school. I hit
Yeah.
sport mode for a minute going around a couple of the corners, but I didn't really play with it very much. And I got the map going at the start to go to Mount Seymour, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But you can talk about the electronics probably better. I wasn't really using them all that much.
You know what I find? I think all this new technology on these motorcycles, people think, oh, you know, I can't do anything to them. But the nice thing about Harley-Davidson is you sure can. On the 24s, you can do sound system upgrades.
Oh yeah.
Your stage 1, you can do suspensions. So depending on what kind of rider you are, I know for me, I'd probably do suspension.
Yeah.
I don't really care about noise, but I really notice the stage 1. The stage 1 is really noticeable compared to this bike.
I know we have one customer who has a Road Glide, a brand new 24 Road Glide, and he did do the upgraded speakers in it, and it sounds so much better now. So if you're upgrading like sound system stuff, it sounds night and day difference from what the stock sounds. One of the other things that I thought about the Road Glide, even compared to my 21 Road Glide, They did everything on this bike that I spent $10,000 doing on my bike.
yeah.
So it comes standard with like higher bars. They're right where you want them. They're in that right spot where you want them to be. Has the chopped engine guard. I had the big hoop engine guard. I changed mine to a chopped engine guard, so I spent a bunch of money on that. Simple stuff, right? Like they've done away with the extended bags, like the long bags. They've gone to the
That's
sort of
kind of
shorter
neat,
bag.
I think, those extended
They are.
I do like the shape.
The shape of the bags is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the chopped fender, I spent $1,000 on a carbon fiber fender to make mine
right.
look cooler.
Yeah.
And then they come out with this, and it's got a beautiful fender on the front of it. Like they shortened it, they made it look awesome. It's modern. They brought it into the era. I'm like, this bike is exactly how I would have done it without having to spend a bunch of dough.
And these retrofit to the earlier models too.
They do,
So,
yeah.
It's a great painted part you can buy. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, what do you think of the 117?
Oh my God, it's good. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Like comparatively, man, it is way better. Mine's only a 107, so it's literally 10 cubic inches larger. So it's a nice smooth delivery on the motor too.
Well, I really noticed the stage one difference. The stage one on this and this being stock. And I was riding it in road mode. I think I had my road mode on this one as well. But you know, the sound of that and the pull, you know, it's got to be done. You know, stage one, right off the bat.
Totally.
Going to do that. So, yeah, no, I think they're both great. I love them both.
Yeah.
I'm a street glide guy.
Yeah.
I know you're a road glide.
Yeah.
But for me, I can look around the batwing fairing. You know, this fairing, because I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
It does block my view. Where the batwing, I can look around, and that's what I like about the batwing. But we're comparing Pepsi or Coke.
Yeah, totally,
Okay.
right? And it's all personal preference when it comes down to the fairing. I mean, for me, I'm 5'11", and I see over the road glide no problem, and I see over the street glide no problem.
Yeah.
What I did find is I have a taller windshield on my bike, so I got a bunch of whistling in my helmet on both bikes. But it was for me, it was a little more noticeable on the street glide, and I think because I'm closer to the fairing, so there's more wind rushing up at you, whereas I'm a little further back on the road glide. And I think that's like really the defining feature of the two bikes. I like how close the nav is on the street glide, and how close the gear, not the gears, the speedometer. I like how I like how close. Yeah. The instrumentation is close.
When I was riding behind you, I noticed you looked bigger on this bike.
Yeah, totally.
And then when I was riding behind you on the road glide, you know, it suited your stature.
Yeah, it's more of the open arm position. You're up a little higher, and on the street glide, I felt a little bit crouched down.
Well, I'm a bit of a smaller guy, so that's probably why the street glide works great for me.
Yeah, a North American longback, gorilla, long arms and a tall back. On this bike, I wouldn't even change the bars. I would leave them and just adjust them.
Perfect.
They're actually like awesome, and that's one of the, you know, the old road glides. They kind of had that wheelbarrow.
Oh,
style.
I know. The pullback really brought your elbows in.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Comfortable, but
On a long haul, it's a bit strange. And so when you get onto on the street glide too, it's the same thing. The handlebars, like, despite my challenges being kind of hunched over on it, they were really comfortable where they were, right?
Yeah.
Like they're set up properly. It's nice. Even the platform of a touring bike, and I know you've ridden touring bikes, you've ridden all kinds of bikes, and like I've had Softails and I've had other models of bikes before. I've gone back to try out like an ST. I've gone back to try out a Lowrider S. I've tried a couple of different Softail bikes, and every time I get back on my road glide, I'm so glad I'm back on my road glide. There's room for me to sit on the bike and just be part of the bike and just enjoy riding it. I don't think I could ever not do a touring bike again.
you know, it's everybody that comes off the smaller Softails or the, you know, earlier Dynas, they end up here eventually.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that, and they're like, nah, Stu. A couple of years later, they get in a road glide or a street glide, and they see the light, you know.
And we've seen that with customers recently too,
all the
right?
time.
Yeah.
You know, I feel a little cramped on a, say, a Lowrider S. Knees are high.
Knees are high.
You know, I get on this, I'm just relaxed.
Yeah, you relax. That's the thing. They're so comfortable. Oh, the seat. Man, I don't know if you've noticed that about the seat. These seats are so much better than the previous years.
They are, and I noticed the seat brings you a little further forward.
Further forward. I noticed that too.
Not much, but maybe that gets the weight over the front end. Who knows what Harley was thinking. I know it's a lower profile seat because the shocks are taller.
And it might be the shape too, because what I noticed on the stock seat on the 20, like on my 21, it's almost rounded backwards. Like they actually put a stop in here, right?
Yeah.
So like the other one is a little bit rounder. So there's more room for you to kind of wiggle back and wiggle further away from the fairing and
Yeah.
wiggle further back from the tank. Why is it so windy back here? And then this one, you're like
It really
planted.
cups your butt.
Yeah, it cups your butt. We are literally running out of light right now. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jeff.
I'm Stewart, Trev Deeley Motorcycles.
Come and see us, 1875 Boundary Road. We will get you on a road glide or a street glide, 2024 Harley-Davidson models. We'll see you in the showroom.